You are listening to Jambo Radio Scotland, online, on your smart speakers, and on DAB digital radio in Edinburgh and Glasgow. You can download the Jambo Radio app on Google Play and App Store. Now, it's time for our conversations with inspirational individuals in Scotland and beyond. This is a moment with Sade and Enoch.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Moments with Sade and Enoch. My name is Enoch and we've got our amazing guest here today. Ikem will be sharing with us his journey, right? And hopefully with these conversations, what we hope is at the end of it, you've learned one or two things and then you find it exciting as well. So without further ado, if you want to join us on the show, it's 0141-530-2787, or you can send us a WhatsApp. It's 0745-990-6822. Jambo Radio Scotland on Facebook, and if you're on Twitter or previously X or no, now X. Previously Twitter. Yeah. It's Jambo Radio.
It's hard to keep up.
I'm sure they'll change them back to Twitter at some point. And if you're on IG, you're jamboradio.scotland, and if you're on email, it's info@jamboradio.co.uk. So on this show, we invite interesting people to share a bit of their life story that we think is relevant to our audience, and hopefully we try to make it as light-hearted as possible. And we've got today with us someone I personally respect, and I'm not just saying that to be nice. I genuinely do respect you. Someone I personally respect, who, when I speak to him, I try to learn as much as possible. So hopefully during these next, I think we've only got 55 minutes left. During these next 55 minutes, you can learn something from it as well, as sort of dive through his journey and sort of hopefully have a bit of banter along the way as well. So thank you for joining us, Ikem.
Thank you, Enoch. Thank you for having me.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I hope your viewers find this very informative as well.
Yeah.
And you said some very, very kind things about me.
Yeah.
And the feeling is mutual, right?
Yep.
So you're someone I've gotten to know over time, and the respect is also mutual.
Yep.
And we have a partnership outside this, something that I hope we will continue. But it's exciting to be here.
It is. You know, when you said we've known each other, I was thinking we've actually must be coming to 8 years or so. You know, in the early EBP days, because EBP started in 2016.
Yes.
So you must have come to one of those early.
2016, yes.
So wow, jeez.
Yeah. But we started our proper relationship, I want to say, going back to 22.
Yeah.
As in that formal relationship, that
yes,
partnership.
Yes. But again, I've been asking Ikem how he does it, because as I said, we've known each other for like 9 years now, but it seems to be regressing age-wise because he keeps looking younger and finer, but then for some of us, we keep looking older, we're losing our hair. So maybe at some point on the show, share the secrets of his success, if I can call it that. So Ikem, I'm always excited. I'm always intrigued by names, meanings, right? So your name is Ikem Odikanekwu.
Well done.
Did I crush it?
You got it.
I did,
you killed it, yeah.
So what does it mean, and what part of the world does that name come from?
So the full name is Chukwubi Ikem. Ikem is just a shortened version.
Chukwubi Ikem.
Yeah.
And is that one word, or is there a hyphen?
No, it's one word.
Okay.
But it's like a sentence, and basically what that means is God is my strength. So as you know, as a fellow Nigerian, you know that when your parents, Chukwu is God. There you
Oluwa.
go. Ikem, Chukwubi Ikem, my own, like, so God is my strength.
Okay.
So when your parents name you, your name has to have a symbolic meaning.
Yes.
And that's why sometimes our first name is very, very long, because it's literally a sentence.
Yeah. And you have to pick a bit of it. I'm like, I'll use that bit.
Well, the truth be told is my parents never ever, I don't think, only when I was in trouble.
Yeah.
They never called me by my full name. It was always Ikem, or Ike.
Yeah.
Ike for short. And that's what I had growing throughout life, in secondary school and all. It was always been Ike. So in fact, very few people even call me Ikem. You're one of the few people. Most people call me Ike.
Okay. So even at work, you're called Ike?
No, at work I'm called Ikem because I don't know, maybe it's just a corporate environment.
Okay. But you're in the casual space.
All my friends
friends
call me Ike. Yeah.
Right.
If you notice, Tosin, who's our mutual connect, calls me Ike.
I have been trying to break into your friend circle, so I think I'm gonna start calling you Ike. I think I just called you Ikem for the last time 2 minutes ago. So I've joined the Ike club.
You're welcome. Welcome aboard. Yeah.
Okay. And then Odikanekwu, what does that mean?
Oh, okay, that's even longer. So Odikanekwu. Basically, it's the meaning, as I understood from my parents, is like the great orator. So Odikanekwu, as in ku means speak in Igbo, and Kaneku as in the one that speaks.
Okay.
So, but essentially, it means like the one who's a great orator. Now, clearly that gift bypassed me because I don't see myself as a great orator. But maybe my grandfather was, because that was actually his first name. Our last name should have been Okafor.
Okay.
But I think we took and I don't know how it works back then, but we took my grandfather. So that's my father's first name instead of his name. So I have cousins who are Okafor, as in like literally my cousins, not distant cousins. Yeah. But somehow my grandfather saw fit to gift us with that very long name.
Same as my dad. So Adeyemi is not my family name. Adeyemi is my dad's name.
Your dad, not your grandfather, your father. That's quite interesting.
Yeah, so it's funny when people meet me and they say, "Oh, you may be related to this Adeyemi." I'm like, "Nah, I'm not related to any Adeyemi thing because this Adeyemi name just started one generation ago."
So maybe I'll make my children go.
Just go to It's interesting. It's interesting. I mean, and it's good that we can be flexible with these things, right? It's not really set in stone. You can be like, you know what, I'm starting a new chapter. Wipe that one, change it, right? But yeah, so Ikem, and that name comes from what part of the world?
So it's actually from Anambra State.
Okay.
Yeah. So
and that's in
the eastern. For those who don't know, and non-Nigerians, that's the eastern part of Nigeria.
Okay.
So Nigeria is split predominantly, and I don't want to do any injustice to any of the minority tribes, between Igbos, the Yorubas, and the Hausas. But you have many other tribes, Ishekiri, like many other, out there. So from the eastern part of Nigeria, you then have the Igbos, the Wests, the Yorubas, and the north predominantly the Hausas. So my lineage is actually Igbo, and it's from the eastern part of Nigeria, specifically Anambra State.
Okay.
So that's where my last name actually hails from.
Fantastic. So in 30 seconds, without telling us what you do for work, who is Ike?
Ooh, gosh. Okay. All right.
People struggle with that because their life is
true. And you are right. I don't want my identity to be what I do for a living. So that's true. So I think first things first, I'll probably say I'm a husband. I'm a father. I'm a father of 2 boys. I'm a provider. And I'm someone who cares deeply about not just my immediate family, i.e. my wife and my kids, but my brother family. So that's my brothers. Well, not my late dad, who's passed.
Family.
I don't know if you call them extended, because I never see my brothers extended.
They're not, because your nuclear is now your wife and your kids.
Okay, so technically you are correct. Yeah. So I'm someone that cares very deeply, because I'm one of 4 children. So I'm sure trying to keep this within 30 seconds. So I'm one of 4 children.
You've broken that already. So just free.
You want me to carry on?
Yes.
So I'm one of 4 children. I'm the last Mohican, and I've got 2 brothers and a sister. So we're a very close knit family growing up. But yeah, that's
fantastic.
Yeah.
And you said something interesting there. You said you're a provider. I've not heard that before. So when you say that, what do you mean? What does that mean to you?
Okay, so I don't want to do my wife in any injustice, because she actually works in the same industry as me. So she brings back more or less the same bread as me. So she's a provider in her own right, while also being a homemaker. But when I say provider is not just financial, right? It's also support for those family members I talked about, be it my siblings, or be it my wife, or be it my kids. So being a provider, people always equate that to money. It's not always about money. It's mental support. It's sometimes physical support, whatever it is.
Your shoulder folks can lean on.
Exactly. During troubled and difficult times. So it's not always financial. There is a financial element, don't get me wrong, that exists. And that is typically the bulk of everything. But there are other ways, you provide support. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. I think I'm going to go home today and tell Sade, my wife, I'm a provider. So you came to the UK back in, 20 years ago?
If we want to get specific, we are shy of 20. I want to say 19. So I came here in 2006.
2006. Okay. So what drove that decision to move from where you moved from?
So Scotland was never on the cards for me, right?
Okay.
I was supposed to go to, the plan. Actually, let's take it a step forward. Right?
Okay.
So
a step backward.
Step backwards. Sorry.
Yeah, okay.
So when I graduated from my first degree, I went to Lagos State University. I did economics.
No way. Our last guest went to Lagos State University.
Really?
Yeah. He studied accounting though.
This very guy, but he looks very young, so he wouldn't be.
He
looks really young.
Lagos State University. Yeah. That was
there you go.
Yeah.
So that's LASU for short. So basically, there's a University of Lagos. Which
And
really
there's LASU. Yeah,
there's LASU.
he went to LASU for sure.
Okay, so that's a shame I didn't get to actually speak to him properly. Anyway, so when I graduated, I studied economics, and I then did my youth service. And typically, the typical path is when you graduate, you serve. The country requires you to serve in Nigeria, and service could be anything. So it could be you teach in a school, and they'll post you to any states in the entire country, and you would teach in a school, or you could work.
No, the reason I'm laughing is I just posted about it on LinkedIn today. What you're talking about now around. I've always wanted to be a teacher.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay, so when I was younger, I normally see these NYSC guys coming to our school to teach. And I always look forward to when I will get to go to a school.
You never served, did you?
I never served.
Okay. Right.
So,
you owe your country a debt.
I owe them debt, but my country owes me as well. I think we're net.
Okay.
We're net. I mean, they didn't even get us into the World Cup, so we're net. Let's not get into that.
Fair enough.
So, and I've always had that desire to teach, but of course, I came here for uni, so I never got a chance to do my NYSC, so I never got a chance to teach. So I just posted on LinkedIn today saying I still have that slight desire to teach, but maybe now not primary or secondary school kids, more college, university, lecture,
you want to lecture, okay.
Type thing. So it's still a desire from Benue. I'll let you.
Yeah. The lecturing is quite a tricky thing because of the qualifications you need to do that. So, but I'm sure with you, once there's a will, there's a way, right? Yeah, it's a great Enoch, right? Okay. So,
amen.
Yeah. So you had to, as I was saying, you had to serve your country in some shape or form. It could be you worked in a government parastatal or you taught in a school. I ended up working in the bank. So, and that's where I ended up. And so I did my youth service in that bank, and typically you do that for 1 year. After 1 year, you typically get if you're lucky, they retain you, and I think I spent a total, I want to say maybe 3 years, if I can remember, 2 to 3 years, I can't remember, before a bunch of redundancies, and we're back in the job market. So, and I was someone that when I finished secondary school, I went straight into university, no delay. I went into university. It was a 4-year course. Anybody who knows Nigeria, you're always gifted with extra year, which could be driven by strike.
Yep.
Or it could be driven by maybe you get
many factors.
Many factors. You fail certain courses and you need more credits to. I did my 4 years. Bang. As in, they had just come out of a big strike. I went in. I did my 4 years. Literally, I'd spent 4 years, and I graduated, and they had another long, I think a year-long strike. So I was someone who was actually, I was blessed, and at the time, and I never had a delay. I went from, and again, when you finish back then, you finish high school, sometimes it might be a delay if you don't get your JAM results. You could spend another. I went straight into uni, straight into the work. And after work, people struggle to get a job. I went straight from getting my papers in university straight to camp. Like, I didn't even go home. Like, my mom had arranged for them to pack some stuff for me in a bag and straight to Lagos camp. Like, so I never had a period where I just sat still.
Like idleness.
Yeah. So no idleness until I spent a few years in the bank and the job was no longer there. Yep. And I had a year at home. So it was the first time for me to experience.
How did you deal with that? Because as I said, it's just been, smooth sailing to an extent, albeit hard work from you, but smooth sailing. So how did you deal with that first
setback? Yeah. It was difficult, right? But the truth be told, that I saw same thing happen to my eldest brother. Okay. Like he went to Unilag, he had strike. And when he finished, like, job eluded him. Took him maybe 2.5 years, probably long, before he got his first job. He got a great job. He got a job in Shell. So for anyone that knows, like if you get a job in Shell, it's a job for life. Like
it's
good. High paying, you know, you're good. Like, you know, your package is it's fantastic. So he paid his dues. I never paid any dues in that sense. I just had a smooth sailing. You know, I didn't have any extra. So I was really young, you know, when I graduated, like as a young kid going in before 21 or just 20, I was ready to graduate. Like, it was crazy, right? And so I had my first setback. And that was quite difficult for a year, just sitting at home. And it was difficult seeing all your peers who are moving forward, they were getting promoted or going to that next stage in their career, and I was just regressing in my mind. And it was due to no fault of mine. I was trying to make efforts, but in Nigeria it's very difficult to get a job, you know, and it's driven by a little bit of nepotism, who you know, etc. And I was doing some interviews, but nothing really panned out. So I think after about a year or so, I landed a job just by chance with British Airways. And it was a great job, right? It was a job with a lot of perks.
Air hostess?
No. It was in an office. No. None of that air hostess stuff. It was in an office, And I spent about a year, and that role came with a lot of perks, you know. Like, in fact, within how many months of joining, I was scheduled to travel to South Africa for training. You get these perks like what's called ID80 and ID90. What these effectively are staff travel benefits. So I could literally go using ID90. I could go in and they still offer it today, but you could go in and book any flight you want to anywhere, and all you just pay is the taxes. So you could travel from Nigeria to, I guess, New Zealand and end up paying like back then less than, or maybe $150.
Nice.
Okay. These are fares that would have cost you thousands of pounds. But there's a catch. You can go anything from, again, because what happens is that they put you on a wait list. So you turn up at the airport, and if the plane is full, you don't get on, because they're going to take paying customers first as an airline. But if it's free, you get anything from business class, if business class is free, if all the seats are booked in economy to business class, or you can go right below economy. And do you know what's below economy? Jump seat. Jump seat is basically where the air hostess sits.
The back.
And you pull a seat down off the wall. Imagine doing a 6-hour flight to the UK or New Zealand. Right? So it's a luck of the draw. You can fly business class and they feed you, eating with cutlery, not plastic, for like real silverware, to jump seats, and you're kicking at the back with the air hostesses. But you're getting a free flight. A free flight.
Ultimately, you get your destination.
Exactly. So it was a great job, right? You know. I didn't get to maximize it, so which was a shame, because I only spent about less than a year before, because at the time, before I landed the job, I'd already started exploring maybe just going abroad to study, because like Nigeria wasn't working. So leads me to the point you were asking me as to what made me come to the UK. So the plan was, it was going to be Canada, and unfortunately,
I didn't even know Canada was being looked at back then. You know, then it was
2006.
UK, America. I mean, UK, US were sort of the.
So UK wasn't really on the cards for me. It was Canada. I just thought, you know, I just fell in love with the place, and I just thought it was, you know, and you look at all these brochures about university, and it looks glossy, it looks nice, you know, and everything. So you fell in love, but you don't know what it looks like until you get there. You don't know how freezing cold it is. Anyway, I don't get the admission to the university, which in hindsight I'm grateful I didn't. And I had a friend who was living in Scotland at the time, and I'd already gotten that job with BA, and I then used a free trip. I traveled to the UK. I went to go and hang out with my friend in Dundee, who was studying in Dundee, and he picked me up from the airport in Edinburgh, took me back to Dundee. We kind of hung out, you know, and he was like, man, what are you talking about this Canada? Come and chill here, because the allure was, you know, you get here, you then get 2 year post-study work permit. Come on, fresh talent. Yeah, we go back in good old days. Yeah, so you show your age now. You now get fresh talent. And they were like, and there was another girl, Fidelia, she won't mind me calling her name. She was the one that championed me. So I met her when I was here. I spent time in that place. And they said, you really need to really check out this place. While I was there on holiday, I started filling applications, applying. Actually, no, I lie. we had this conversation before I arrived.
Okay.
So I already put some applications, and I had 2 conditional offers, one from RGU, Robert Gordon, another from Heriot Watts.
Okay.
So when I came, I think my mom cut me a check to pay my deposit for my school fees. At the time, she cut me a check, and I just said, okay, when I came, and I really saw it, I'm like, oh yeah, I can see myself living here.
Yeah.
You know, I thought I came in the summer as well.
I was gonna ask.
So I came in the summer, right? So I came to Scotland
on a day like today.
Yeah, because you know, I know down in London when the weather was much better there. I know the winter could bite, but I didn't know how the winter could bite in Scotland at the time. But anyway, I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And I had a fun time, so I had fun memories. And I just thought, you know, so I really pushed for it.
1 year, yeah. So which one did you pick? RGU or?
I picked Heriot. Well, because Edinburgh is a city, I fell in love with it.
Okay.
Again, the glossy brochures, the city looks lovely. Unbeknownst to me, my campus was not even the Rickerton campus. I was in Galashills in the village. That was interesting. I was in the village.
Is that not in the borders or something?
In the borders, yeah. But they just said, oh, it's just like, you know, 40, 50 miles from Edinburgh.
Yeah.
So I just thought, another city somewhere.
Yeah,
you know. I didn't know what it is I was signing up for. But anyway, long story short, that's how the decision to come to Scotland came, and I found myself in Scotland.
Interesting. It's interesting, right? The different journeys people take to come to Scotland, and I digress. So we're currently working on a report at BPU, and the report is sort of talking about Black experience in Scotland over the last few years. So we've gathered a lot of data.
Oh, it's changed.
And it has changed.
Yeah.
And when you look at the biggest driver of people coming to Scotland, I'm trying to remember the percentage, but it was definitely over 50% was education. And again, then the report is then leaning into, if people are coming here to study, then we should be making sure we can keep them here. Don't let them go, because that means they are upwardly mobile, they're ambitious, they want to do stuff with life, and that's part of sort of what we're exploring in that report. But that's by the way. But our previous guest, very different story. He came to the UK, was recruited straight from Nigeria.
Yeah, there are a few of those.
Yeah, straight from Nigeria, just flown in to come and work with a big four. And but yeah, so you've found yourself in Edinburgh, but the good thing is you're not by yourself. You've still got people around you in Scotland, right?
So
he left.
No. So this guy, he's so I see him as my family. Like, he's a very close friend of mine, and we were close before, back in Nigeria. In fact, we go back to, I think, when we were in primary school. So we go way back. But you know, so when I arrived, like I said, I had baptism of fire. I found out that, oh, by the way, you're in not Rickerton, so
no man's land.
I was in no man's land. I had to make my way from there. I was knackered after the 2 flights, you know, to get here. I had to now make my way to the borders, which was, I was like one of maybe 3 black people in the entire village called Galashills. So that was really like, okay, but I embraced it. I was a young guy. I was 24. I can't remember at the time. I embraced it. Like, it's like, it was an adventure to me. So I didn't really care. I just I really embraced it. There were bits of it that were a bit difficult, in the sense whereby, because it was in the back end of nowhere, like during the campus, it was great. I made some really, really good friends. There's a Scottish guy who till this day is my friend. In fact, now that I'm thinking about him, I'm going to reach out to him. It's been a while since I reached out to him. And I had a great circle around me. But come like the weekends,
over. There's
never school. Like weekends, they would just disappear, and I was just lonely all by myself, you know.
And these were the days before Netflix or wherever.
So I did have my school laptop, my own laptop, and I used to watch stuff. And I think YouTube had just come on, and, you know. So, but it was boring.
There's only so much of that you could do.
There's only so much you could do. So, and I think I bought a car just not too shortly after I arrived, and I used to just drive to Dundee. So most weekends, not every weekend, I'll just drive to Dundee. I'll chill with my friends. I'll eat a lot of Nigerian food because I hadn't learned how to cook Nigerian food at the time. I wasn't equipped to cook Nigerian. I hadn't learned at the time. So when I was missing a touch of home, I'll just go hang out with because there's loads of my Nigerian people in Dundee. So I used to go and hang out. So I'll drive past like Edinburgh all the way to Dundee and hang out for the weekend. I'll come back. So I made it work. I was able to make it work, and it was good.
Fantastic. I thought you were gonna say your friend is now in Canada.
No, so
the irony.
So the ironic thing that he's back in Nigeria right now, and this is someone that. So yes, we went to the same primary school together, and high school, but he did his undergrad in Romania. Then he did his postgrad in Dundee. So he's lived a good portion of his life abroad, but he always wanted to go back. He had the itch to go back. And truth be told, the plan for me was, I was thinking, like, after I finished, I was thinking, I'm going to hook a high-paying job back in Nigeria, because there was a time where all the big banks were coming back and poaching people who had foreign degrees and,
Did you ever try that service? There was a company then that was taking people back home, Jobs in Africa.
I never used any of that, right? So because a part of me, I was, because of the painful experience I had being without a job in that place, being without a job in the UK is different from being without a job in Nigeria. I don't know how to explain to you. It's so different in the sense that you can still get a part-time job to make ends meet here. That doesn't exist in Nigeria, and that's very difficult. So let's say you're jobless, you can get something, whatever it is, just to pay bills and make ends meet till you get your graduate job, if you see where I'm coming from. It's not the same in Nigeria. Like, either you get a proper job or not. You're not going to go and do a waiter's job. Like, it's just not, So I was still a bit scarred by that experience. So I was in two minds, and my mom didn't really want me to come. She was like, just focus on getting a job there. I'm like, but what if, all these banks come here and pay me all this money? My mom said to me, this will be a phase, all this thing. Yes, there's a lot of, and if you really want, but just try. And I did really want to get some experience here. So I stayed fast. It was quite hard to get a job, and we'll probably get into that into a minute. And I ended up working here, and I'm very grateful for that, because a lot of people that went back are trying to come back now. I know a couple of people who've come back who were my classmates in last year as well.
Now they're starting from...
I've come back, but not just coming as a young man, like when we came on, like 24 or whatever.
No,
they're coming with their family.
Adults
as adults. To start all over again, register with any, like have all these things that, build their, trying to rent a place, build their credit rates, like that's all gone. So in hindsight, I'm grateful I didn't make that decision. To be honest,
I know. And what were some of the the part-time jobs you did back then to fill up the time?
I would love to say it was quite exciting. I really had two jobs.
Okay.
And again, this is the charm life that I had. I had two jobs. So when I first arrived, I went to the job center, looked at a few jobs. I also, so in Glasgow, they had just opened two big, this is back in 2006, they opened two 24-hour, a Tesco and a Asda next to it. They didn't have that. Like, they didn't even have that. So they just, and we were even building a train station at the time, if I remember. So I even tried to apply for a job. Okay, can I get a job in Asda? And funny enough, they didn't take me. I was like, Christ, like I can't even get a job in Asda. So I ended up going to the job center, and what eventually happened is I got a job in Tiscali. For those just going way back, there's a broadband provider. So it was a call center job. So I got a job in Tiscali, which was in Selkirk.
Okay.
And luckily I just got a car when I arrived, so I could drive there, because I used to do like late shift after uni. So it was quite a cushy job if you think about it. You go to the call center, I wasn't working as a doorman in freezing cold. It was computer, get coffee breaks, So nice. It was very. So that's one of the jobs I did. Okay. And the second job I did is I worked in similar was a car phone warehouse, but I worked in retail within the actual shop selling mobile phones on contracts. I got to wear a suit.
I'm jealous / eating you.
I know. Because people tell me about how they were waiters and how they clean bathrooms. I never had to do any of those things. I'm not saying that I'm beyond that. It's not beneath me. I had to, and I've done it. I just didn't have to do it, which I was very fortunate for. So I'm extremely grateful that. So those are the two I don't want to diminish it, because there are people that had a career in car phone warehouse, who went on to be store managers.
Those were the non-career jobs you did, because that was not your career.
It was not my career. I think you're phrasing like that for me. So because I do know people who ended up being the manager for that particular branch and became regional manager, and it was a career path for that. It just wasn't for me, right? So those were the jobs I had that were not in the career path that I studied and I wanted to do.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, because You know how you said Tesco, how's that didn't even give you a job? Bro, story of my life. Sometimes when I look back, I'm like, I can't believe these guys did not give me a job. Like the
basic jobs.
You don't even need, you don't need intelligence.
I can scan.
Yeah, as long as I can work, I should be able to do it. Like, now we're not giving you the job. And there was one when I was doing my master's in Sterling. The job I got was the job I eventually got after applying. I think I was just very unfortunate when it comes to jobs, right? Nobody tends to give me job. But the job I eventually got was in an Italian restaurant. And the reason why I got it was because my guy, who was like my best friend when we were in Sterling then, he was Italian. I mean, when we came in, this boy got a job like that.
Yeah.
So he got a job there, and then after a while, he got something better. And then he told them, like, listen, this guy is my guy. He's hardworking. Give him the job.
Give him a shot. Yeah.
And then that was how they gave him the job. But it was an interesting one because it was an Italian restaurant.
Yeah.
And then I get angry customers, angry with me for not being able to speak Italian. I'm like, we're in Scotland, man. Calm down.
Yeah, exactly. We're not in Italy, yeah.
So, but yeah. So that was a different one. So eventually you finished university.
Yeah.
Economics.
So that was my first degree in Nigeria.
Okay.
So I now did a postgrad in business management.
Okay.
So like I said, in terms of those temporary jobs, I managed to get, when I say cushy, as in
it could be worse.
Yeah, worse. And I don't want to use the word worse because I'm conscious that there are people that, their careers in that space, you know. But like everything, you pay your dues later. And that's how I see life, as in you can sail through all this. Yeah. Just like going back to my experience in Nigeria, you have to go through some hard time. Yeah. And I was getting, even in that Carphone Wells job, I was now starting to get frustrated because I was applying for loads and loads and loads and loads of jobs, right?
Within Carphone Wells?
No. As in within my field, within the field I wanted to do, within financial services. Nobody took me serious. Nobody, I kid you not, I actually went to, and I got the same excuse every time. When I apply for a role, even though I'd worked in financial services in Nigeria, it just didn't carry.
Yep.
They want UK experience. Yep. I'm like, come on.
Yep.
We're a Commonwealth country. Like, what is the UK experience different from, same industry? So that was the excuse I was given every time. I was like, okay, how do I get this UK experience if you don't give me a job? So the only alternative is you go through the grad scheme. And the grad scheme is a very competitive route because you have thousands of people applying for maybe like 20 spots in a firm or 30 spots in a firm, but thousands of applications. So I went through, I did ExxonMobil. So I had to branch out outside the field I wanted. I was doing oil industry because I was open to that, but also HSBC, banks, like different, like I would just, sometimes they'll come in for interviews for the grad program. I'll get to second or third stage and I'll get caught. So I tried to go down, I changed my strategy. Let me go down the experience route because I felt I still had experience, but they wouldn't give me that due to the fact that I didn't have UK experience. So I did a very Nigerian thing. When I think I applied for a role in Barclays Wealth here in Glasgow, and again I got a rejection telling me that not suitable for the role, la-di-da-di-da. But I noticed that the person had their signature at the bottom, and they had their phone number. And I just did a very Nigerian thing. I just picked up the phone and I called. Like, even though it's not really, you don't just phone people, you message or you email, you don't. I phoned, I could see she was taking it back. And I said, look, I just wanted to just talk to you very quickly. Like, I applied for several roles, and I've got this rejection and I'm trying to understand what am I doing wrong here. And I do apologize to kind of doorstep you, but and she told me, oh, sorry, the role you applied for, that particular one, that they said I didn't have the necessary experience. No, she said I was over experienced for that role based on I'm like, really? Okay, but I applied for this one, which was a lesser role. And
you didn't have enough experience.
I didn't have enough. So I was like, which one is it? I now said to her, how am I supposed to get this experience if you guys won't even take a chance on me? And this woman, I could hear like her brain ticking in the background. Like, she took a pause and said, have you tried some of the grad schemes, that I'm like, come on, like the odds of that is a lot slimmer. I do have some experience. You just don't look at the Nigerian experience. You want a UK experience. And she said, okay, why don't we do this? I'll keep an eye out for any temp jobs that come up. And if one comes up, I can reach out to you. I say, perfect, just anything, So while I was waiting, I also went, and this is me, the Nigerian, I'm very industrious. I went to a company called...
Is it a recruiter?
No. It's a small
asset
manager in Charlotte Square.
There are lots of them.
It will come to me before the end of this chat, and I walked into the reception. In fact, I went to Scottish Widows, went to my CV, went into the reception. I was literally dropping my CV physically in reception. I said, I would take a job in reception. So I can have Scottish Widows on my CV in his reception. I was like, I will take that. I was that desperate.
Just give me anything.
So I now went to this company. I've forgotten the name. They've now been bought over by Bank of New York.
Oh, Walter Scott.
Walter Scott.
No way.
Yeah. So I went into Walter Scott. And actually, no, I served the customer while I was in Carphone Warehouse.
Okay.
And I was doing a contract for him, and you have to take details. He said it was Walter Scott, and I said, "Oh man, I've been trying to get a job, like
help you, brother."
And they said, I said, "What's your background?" I said, "Oh, I've got a master's in this." Like, "Oh, got a master's? What are you doing here?" Like, I can see like before that. I said. So he said, "Oh, I should go and try and apply, on the website, blah blah blah." But the website was quite opaque. I couldn't see anything. So I just walked in, dropped my CV, spoke to a lady. I said, "Look," and I wrote a cover letter to say that I'm willing to work for free.
Yeah.
And I just want to get some experience. And I'll work for free for I'll couple with I'll take night shifts and or later shifts. And I work for free at certain times, just to get the experience. If you guys would consider me. Obviously, I was very naive. I didn't understand how labor law works. They can't legally employ me and not pay me. That's just illegal. So, but I wasn't clued up. And they sent me this really nice letter. And they posted it to my house to say, unfortunately, and just like they kind of explained, but they wished me the best. So. A few days after speaking to that lady in Barclays, I get a phone call from her saying, "I've got a temp job in, I think, what department was it? Was it corporate action? It was corporate action or something. That would you, consider a role?" I said, yes. So, I literally came that day for an interview. Like, can you come in today? Yeah, I was on the train, boom.
Yeah.
And I had the first interview, I smashed it. And I had a second interview, I killed it, and that's how I landed the job. Yeah. I think it was settlement or something, or maybe corporate. I can't remember. But that's how I just landed the first job, and that was my stepping stone into the industry.
That's all you need sometimes.
That's all I need. Break. Yeah, I remember this lady's name. I don't want to call it on air, but I am grateful to. I tried to find her on LinkedIn.
Remember her name?
Oh yes, I tried to find her on LinkedIn recently. I couldn't find her because. When they talk about where I am today and what I do and the title, she gave all that happened with her opening the first door for me.
Yep.
Until this day, I've not been able to find her to actually thank her.
Thank you. I know. Yeah. Those people.
So if I can find her, I'll be so grateful.
A debt of gratitude, but you can't reach.
Yeah, I remember her very well. I can see her face right now as we speak.
And it's interesting, right? Again, that's something I tell people when I'm having a conversation with them around. Try the non-traditional routes. So if everybody's applying on Indeed and you're competing with everybody, why don't you try something else? In your case, I guess knocking on doors, just
picking up the phone to someone.
That's
not the norm.
Yeah, it's not because with my own as well, my first job after lots and lots of applications. You know what? Maybe all the things that happened to me was eventually what pushed me to go start BPU then, because. Bro, I get rejection.
That shared experience.
I get rejection. I was rejected non-stop. And then eventually my first break came from my pastor from when I was in Liverpool calling me to say, "How you doing? What's happening?" I was like, "I'm trying to get a job. I finished my master's." And he said, "I know someone in Aberdeen." And when he switched into that conversation, I just switched off, because I'm like, who can this guy know that can help me? This guy is a pastor. But I still played along and connected me with this Nigerian guy in Aberdeen that was a recruiter. So I connected with the guy, and the guy was like, sorry, I don't recruit for finance and stuff. That's not my thing. However, my colleague does.
There you go.
Bro, I can't remember, maybe it was the same day or wherever. Colleague called me and said, "Enoch, I've got a CV on my desk. I've got a job on my desk. Match. Do you want to go for an interview?" That's how I got my first job.
There you go.
Through
my pastor in Liverpool. Like opportunities always come in forms that you can never expect.
And it's just that you just need that door to be open, because then once I got that, then it was just a what's it called, one after the other. Or,
there you go.
So, but yeah, so eventually you kick that off. So what journey have you been on then since you got that first one? And I guess for someone, I'm just trying to pick sort of lessons from this. So for someone listening to this, still trying to get a first break, and I know you've shared it around try non-traditional routes. Is there any other tip or anything else you want to tell them? So
the truth is there is no magic bullet.
Yep.
The one thing you need is perseverance. You need to persevere. And I remember when we had the big career conference in 2024, and you know, I had a lot of people coming to me and wanting to talk to me after it, and you're like thinking, oh, you're director, you can help me. Like, it doesn't really work like that, but there is no magic bullet. The only thing I can tell you, and this is, I'm drawing from parallels from my experiences, you have to be persistent. And it's very difficult because with every rejection, it eats into you. It takes a piece of your soul. With every rejection, every knockback, your mental health starts to take a dip. You just don't know it's happening, but it is happening. So it's very difficult, but you have to still stay laser focused. And at the same time, like you said, and I also said, is that you also need to be creative in terms of, trying to build networks. And that's why I tell people, like, try BPU or, like the amount of people that have gotten jobs through BPU didn't exist. I could have benefited from a BPU if it was there. But like I say, it's the yous and the me and the people of today who have been here when there were very few black people, and there's now a lot due to immigration, that we can now start to help create that pathway to help where we can in any opportunity. So my advice to that person is just one, don't seek out opportunities in the traditional method. Think laterally, as in, like, what networks can I tap into? Just expand your networks in terms of people around you. Like you said, it was around your pastor. What did you think? So try everything, and don't limit yourself to the traditional. I'll go into Indeed, or I'll go into S1 jobs, and it's not working. You have to leverage contacts. Sometimes speaking to people actually makes a massive difference. So that's my own advice I'll give to people who are trying to.
It's interesting, right? So you said
to get in the job market,
perseverance, persistence. It's something I tell people as well. But then it's something I've also been thinking about. So how you said you just kept going, despite all the
onwards, push forward.
And then for me as well, I just kept on going. I was like, I just need that one person to give me that break. But then, what made us the way we are? What made us be able to take those no's? Because not everybody can.
Now, this is where I'm going to be very controversial. Yeah, I feel as not just Nigerians, but as Africans. Just because we don't come from a land of, and I don't use the word loosely, luxury and stuff, as in when an environment that things don't just, you put on the electricity and there's light, it's like, we come from an environment that nothing is a given. You have to work,
fight for everything.
You have to fight for everything, just even the basics. So fighting for a job should be
part of the DNA.
It's part of the DNA and shouldn't be like so I think just looking at your background and where you're from, as in, and this is me speaking about not just Nigerians but also Africans, as in for where we're coming from, that should be ingrained in you, because you're coming from not a land of plentiful in the sense of, like, there's abundance of jobs and opportunities. It's just, you have to create your own. Look at all the small tech firms I've started in Nigeria, like, is because you had hustlers, people who just had to hustle. So that's what I'll say. That hustle DNA, I just think, is in a lot of Africans. I just think it's in our blood.
Interesting. Okay, fantastic. So then I'm just trying to get more out of your story around, then you got that first break.
So I got that first break, and it was a temporal. So again, the clock is ticking. Bear in mind, you've got
how many months?
So the contract was
3 months.
Maybe a 3-month contract to get rolled over. Yeah. So you have to work to impress. Yeah. I was there in my suit and tie. I know people kind of dress casual, maybe they wear the shirt. I always had my suit. I dressed literally the way I dressed when I was in Nigeria, like suit and tie. I'm just like,
calm down, man.
Dress for the job you want, man. That's what I say to people. And, I was giving it the 110%. I was coming early, even though I commuted from Edinburgh to Glasgow, and I'll leave late, because I wanted them to retain me. That was on my mind.
Yep.
Because bear in mind, I'm on Fresh Talent. There's a clock ticking on that.
What time should we finish?
Yeah. So, are we good for time?
No, we're good. Just, yeah.
Okay. So there's
because Fresh Talent is 2 years, wasn't it?
It's 2 years. Yeah. So you've already spent how many months dilly-dallying trying to get the job? So like 4 or 5 months could have just gone by, and your 2 years has turned to like, I've got like 16 months after, 17 months, whatever. And so the clock is massively, the clock is massively ticking, right? And you're like, okay, I'm trying to do everything to, and work permit was not really on offer those days. It was strictly driven by
you have to get your own stuff.
Yes, or you came into a grad program where they automatically gave it to you. So they only reserved that for people on the grad scheme. They didn't give it to just normal experience. So the clock is ticking. I'm working hard to, and I'm exploring my options. Plus, I was commuting from Edinburgh to Glasgow. So I kept on looking out also for other opportunities. So after the first 3 months, I got converted into a permanent stuff. I saw an internal role. I applied, and it even jumped like 2 titles. So the person that was training me, when she found I got that job, she was like baffled. But I've got experience and I've got qualifications. I was more qualified than her technically from an education standpoint, and also from an experience, if you wanted to count my Nigerian experience. But yeah, so I went into, I think I went from analyst 3 or whatever. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, it was
into a permanent role, and it was more money, and and she was any more than my manager or trainer. But it was more than her. So it was crazy. So I got that, and I was now solidified, but still not a work permit. I then was always on.
So were there things you did then to make the internal move? Because internal moves can be challenging sometimes.
So I was always looking on the intranet, so it's easier because internet, like first dibs goes to the people who work in the firm. Right. So I was always looking, and I was always dressing I now understood how to dress my CV a bit better because I knew what they were looking for. But more importantly, I was in the firm and I had Barclays on my CV. So it was easy for them to do an internal interview. Did it for a role that I think
you're already cultural fit.
There you go. And I just did it, and obviously they'll take feedback with your manager. So it was great. Boom, 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 boom. I got the job. And that was great. But again, like I said, it didn't come with a work permit, it didn't come with anything. So I was still on the lookout for something else. And I didn't want to be commuting to Glasgow. So I used to look up BlackRock at the time, and their website was so cool, American company. You just look really cool, and on the outside looking, you're like, oh my god, I would love to be there. So I remember an agency called me for a role one time, and this is where I got complacent. I didn't even prepare for the interview. I just said, I've been working, so I know. But
I'll be fine.
I bombed. Enoch, I kid you not, I bombed that interview.
Because I know BlackRock, they are very serious with their recruitment.
I bombed that interview. I literally, as in, it was embarrassing. As in, when you've done an interview and you're leaving and you know that you've not gotten that job.
They embarrassed us.
I was upset with myself, and do you know why I was upset? I was upset with myself because I know what's on the line here, and I knew and I allowed complacency come in. It just came in, and I it was a learning point for me. So, and like with most companies, when you mess up and it's so bad, they don't really tend to call you for another interview in a different, after 6 months, they kind of want you. They don't call you blacklist, but they want to give you some time to grow and learn. So another agency then calls me maybe a couple of months later to say, there's another role, a different agency. And I'm like, are you sure they're going to be interested in seeing me? Because they must have thought I was a numpty when they saw me the first time. And lo and behold, because that time BlackRock they had just acquired BGI, and so there was a massive recruitment drive. So that's when BlackRock became the largest asset manager. And great. That
was Barclays Global Investors.
BGI. So BlackRock. So they, after the 2008 crisis, there's a lot of mergers, a lot of acquisitions. So BlackRock acquired BGI at the time. So when they acquired that part of the business, so there was a massive recruitment in Scotland, and I thought, great opportunity. So I got called for another interview. Obviously, once beaten 400 times shy, I went in there prepared. I went in and I killed it. I had one interview, and before I I had an interview before I was going back to work in Glasgow. So I literally got a phone call when I walked from the office to the train station. I got a phone call literally from there. He said, I think they might be making you an offer, you know. And I won't say it was one interview. I can't remember. Maybe I had two, but I think it was one. And before I got off the train, when I was getting to Queen Street, I had the offer email on my phone. Like, come through my BlackBerry. This is when BlackBerry was a thing. I had the offer email coming. I was like, this is crazy. Wow. And my girlfriend then, I just said, hey, you know, no more commuting.
Of course, because that was going to be in Edinburgh.
I was like, and that's how I ended up in the firm. So that was how I made that transition. And
from Barclays
to BlackRock, and my career started to really, you know, take shape at that point in time.
Okay, and it's interesting then. So you started, I guess, entry level,
rank and file.
Yeah.
So I started at the most junior level,
just like most folks. And most folks, maybe this is where you're then different to most folks. Most folks then struggle to break through into those sort of mid-level, senior level role. So, but you did that.
So, truth be told, like, so how many promotions did I get in that firm? Truth be told is that, so when I started, like, there were, so in the entire office, maybe there was like, I want to say between 300 or 400 people, give or take. And black people, I could count them on one hand, maybe 5. I don't, give or take, you know, maybe 5, and all analysts, like entry level, like, you know, and Janet, who you had on your show, was one of those individuals. So we're literally no role models, no nothing, you know, and again, you're wet behind the ears, you're learning the culture, the corporate culture. So there's also the, you know, working in a Nigerian company and working in a UK company, culture is different in how you interact with people. And there's also the corporate culture of each individual firm. And you need to understand what that culture is in order to be a good fit and actually time to, okay, I'm now going to start and craft my career within that place. So I started to learn, obviously, through bits of trial and error. Some things I did well, some things I didn't do very well. And I'm not going to gloss over this, but I spent, so I got married while I was in that firm, and I had both my children while I was in that firm. So I've been there till today, 15 years, And I had a number of succession of promotions, you know, analyst to associate, you know, then vice president, then, you know, to director where I am. So, and it's been great. So I've been grateful I've had the opportunity to do that. But again, like you said, it's not by complacency, it's putting the hard work, but also design. Understanding the culture. Now, if what I wish I knew then that I know now was your career to succeed is based on the relationships that you cultivate. And I'm not talking about relationship like nepotism. I'm talking about relationship in terms of building strong relationships, as in building a brand for yourself. As someone that is a Mr. Fix-It, as in, you're not afraid of any challenge. Okay, give it to me, I'll figure it out. We'll get a solution. Take people along with you. You start to learn that is very valued within that environment. And this is just not, but in any firm you work in, is valued as someone that, I can't do this. Like, no, actually, I'll figure out how to do this. I'll make it work. Just be that Mr. Fix-It. Now, I wasn't always like that. There were things that I was, you know, when I was combative, you know, thinking that my Nigerian stuff, and I learned the hard way that, no, that doesn't work here. So there were periods of, okay, I'll take a pause, reset, watch, observe, learn, seek mentors, get advice, build relationships with people, build sponsors. And that's how I started to actually, you know, get my act together in terms of, okay, this is how, and that's how I am fast forward till today. This is where I am today.
And did you just develop all these attributes, you know, the thinking, get sponsors, get whatever? Did you just develop that by yourself, or was there someone or people around you that you were sort of going on that journey together? Maybe you've got a bunch of friends in your network that were rising.
As in the same title with me, rising as well?
No, not necessarily in BlackRock, just friends. In different industry that were sort of also crushing it in their space, and you guys were just sort of bumping off each other.
So the best man at my wedding, he's my friend from back in Nigeria. So we literally came the same, like 3 months apart. Okay. We relocated in 2006. His story is very interesting. He's a medical doctor. He's a consultant now. So, but he had a bit of a struggle in his own sense. He came in here on normal holiday visa, but in that period that he spent, you can only spend 6 months. He had to write PLAB exams, and people were like, well, you write PLAB, they're not going to hire you as a doctor. They're going to favor, But he still persevered, and he got a job with a hospital, I think, down in Chorley. And obviously, he had to go back to Nigeria and do his visa. Then he came back, but he did that because he decided to write his PLAB exams because he was a qualified doctor back in Nigeria, but you need to write PLAB exams to practice here. So we were going through that stage where, it was where we came together. So we come in as a fresh doctor. I was, I just starting my own career. I was writing my professional exams. He was writing his own Royal College of Physicians exams, to get to where he is, registrar, the house, whatever, different whatever steps that they have. Then he got to a consultant. Now he's a gastro consultant. So again, we're both crushing it at that same time. I've got another friend also who works in the
energy
sales IT space. So he too came maybe 3 years after and started crushing it as well. So there are a group of us that came in at the same time that I think that's a key thing. We came in at a time when it wasn't easy. Don't get me wrong. It's not as hard as it is today for people coming in right now. It's so much harder because just the UK economy is just really struggling. But I look at them today and, they're doing pretty well. They're doing pretty well, as in financially, but, have career-wise, everything,
the journey they've been on.
Because they've had the gift of time.
And I guess in this case, is that whole thing of not trying to be preachy, iron sharpened iron, right? Yes. So you see a guy crushing it, so like, oh yeah, I'm gonna crush it as well. But
so your circle, you're influenced by the circle, the friends you keep.
Yep.
So you've heard the phrase, "Show me your friend, and I'll tell you about you." I'll tell you who you are. So if you surround yourself with people who, for lack of
just okay,
not even just okay, but people who are just don't push themselves, who are
just contented. Like, what, this is okay for me.
Then you'll be content, and that's fine in its own right.
You won't just be content if you then try to be ambitious. They'll think,
what's it? And but when you're around people who are like, you'd be like, oh gosh, well, I need to be doing something as well. So, and that's why I say, like, when you go to an environment where you're in university, you're surrounded by people who are studying. So and if you graduate and people have now got jobs and you feel like so they are forcing you. So you're having those conversations. That's why when like my oldest son now, he's in high school, I want him to be in our circle where his group of friends, they're talking about, okay, what universities am I applying to when they get to, fifth and sixth, S4, S5. And if all your friends around you are like, oh, I applied for Edinburgh I applied for St. Andrews, like, oh my gosh, like nobody's going to tell you you're going to start. So like you said, iron sharpens iron, right? So the circle you keep, if you attach yourself to people who are ambitious, who push themselves, it will rub off on you. And I think it's very important. So that's why I like to hang around with you as well.
You had to say that. You had to say that. But thanks. That's very kind. And for if you could give Ikem an advice, the current you now, give Ike an advice in 2006, what advice would you give him?
Ooh, okay.
I just arriving and just finding out he's in Galashiels. What advice would you give him?
So I touched on the first one, which is focus on building very good quality relationships everywhere. So in the workplace as well, as in but also just in life in general, like making connections. Like you said, you don't know where a break might come from, or a partnership, you could form a business idea with someone, just whatever, just form. And I'm not talking have relations with people, I could get something of this person for now and you just fade. But no, I'm talking good quality, as in get to know them, as in people respond very well when they feel that someone has a genuine interest, in you. And so build those quality relationships in the workplace, and it does magic for your careers. build those quality relationships just in life in general. Like, have good friends. I'm blessed with a good circle of friends. You know, some of them, we share some of them, you know, the Tolsons, etc. I'm blessed with very good circle of friends. And we may not speak every day, but when we speak, it's like, you know, it's quality. And we are always having progressive conversations. We're always pushing ourselves, you know. So I have friends like that, you know. So that's one advice I would have given to myself. The second big one I would give is invest in your pension. And start when you're young so you can get the compounding. A lot of people do not contribute to their pension. I bang on about this, you know. I chair a network within my firm, and I bang on about this to all the black professionals. You need to make sure you are contributing to your pension.
Because you're losing out on the contribution from the employer as well. The
matching. You lose out on the matching. Free money. Just but apart from that, the tax that you save, rather than giving HMO, like in Scotland, well, we've got 47 and we've got 42 and 45 and how many tax? But I've forgotten now. There's so many days. So why pay all that tax when you can actually put it in your pension? So you want to save for your future self. A lot of people don't realize that the sooner you start, the compounding starts to work its magic. So when you get to your retirement age, you don't need to worry about, you know, about poverty in old age. Because one of my biggest fears in life is poverty in old age. Like, you know, and I say this like because I've seen that happen in Nigeria to people who are my parents' peers, and even my parents who are doing very well.
They lived well, and then in their old age,
are struggling. So you don't want to be that old person who has to then get a job in the Tesco checkout aisle because your pension is just not enough. You know, your pension. So that's the second advice I'll give, as in invest into your pension and start early and push yourself to take any matching contribution your firm gives you and push yourself to do it, and also invest for your future outside your pension, like ISAs and stuff. Always do that. So those are two advice I'll give a young me after you get the job.
Fantastic. It's interesting. I've been having this reflection as well around what would an older Enoch,
scary, isn't it,
tell the current Enoch now? So this is not me even going back is gone. It's like, what would the 65-year-old Enoch want to tell Enoch now? So I'm trying to think it, and then I'm trying
it's hard.
You
know what you could do though?
Speak to
the older people who are dead. So like my father-in-law is one I speak to about stuff like that. He's fantastic. He's a brilliant man. You know? And likewise, my dad, I used to speak to my dad. My dad taught me how to invest at a young age. I know we had a conversation where you asked me, which I've done in the industry. Like, I think investment has been very good because it's taught me some basics of investing. I'm not investing guru, but investing for my future. Like it's and diversifying your portfolio in terms of how you invest for your future, invest for yourself. And your pension makes up a good part of that. So I think that's one lesson I learned from my dad. My dad was a big investor, but also I've learned from, you know, those 65-year-old people or 70-year-old people now, those retired people. I asked them and they tell me the same thing, because remember, they had golden age over here. They had golden pensions, like, you know, defined benefits. Not the defined contribution nonsense our generation have. I think there's a study that went out that there'll be a lot of people who would have a gap in terms of
more like most.
Most actually, because people just don't. You know, auto enrollment was an amazing thing that the government did. Like default putting you into something. You have to opt to come out.
I've lost track of time, so I'm going to ask our producer how many more minutes we've got. I've not done this before. Fantastic. Okay, so we've got 3 minutes. So we're going to the wrapping stage. So we've got a tradition here, and tradition is we ask our current guest to leave an advice for our next guest, and then we're also going to share an advice from the previous guest without necessarily them knowing themselves, right? Okay. So our previous guest, his advice for you was do good work, right? Anything you do it well. Make sure it gives people joy. It adds value to people, and I think that is perfect for you, because you're already doing it, but then there's always more we can do. So that was his advice for you. So what's your advice for our next guest?
Okay, so there's many, and one I've given is one I gave to myself, which is, you know, build relationships and build quality, which I think should be a standard. But I think the other thing I'll probably say is be a student of the market. Okay, just know what's happening in the market, just in general. And this leads back to the thing I talked about in terms of planning for your pension. knowing what a 65-year-old or a 75-year-old will be.
Yep.
Is based on the steps and the actions you take, not just now, probably 20, your 20s, depending on your age, right? So the actions you take now determines the life that you have in the future. So I think be a student of the market, know what's going on. You don't have to be a guru, don't get me wrong. But just being aware about, general macro and macro plays, like, what's happening more broadly. Being informed, and there's loads of resource out there, like there's the internet. Be careful where you get, because you can get nonsense as well, but there's loads of resource out there as well.
And one more traction, we have only got maybe 45 seconds left. You get to ask us, well, in this case me, one question, so go for it.
Okay, I had time to think about this because I came in at the end of your last interview.
Okay.
So and the bit I've known you, I think you've done some very great things, and I've partnered with you with some of them through by virtue of where I work and stuff. And you've put Nigeria on the map, not just about Africa, just in general, with the great things you've done. And this is not just to to make your head swell. So you succeeded in a lot of things.
Thank you.
But I do have to ask you, where have you had your big failures? What are the ones that have just not worked out? Give me an example of something that hasn't worked out, has been really, really, oh my gosh, this blew up in my face. Or it's not been successful. Let me rephrase.
So I've had a few things that I've tried that has not worked. One I'll quickly call out is I tried starting an accounting business. Must have been 15 years ago. I even had a website.
That's your field, yeah?
Accounting business consultancy, ABC was what I came up with. And it just didn't really take off. And then that was when I also found that I'm not interested in doing accounting for people, right?
Just for yourself?
No, not for myself. So I can work as an accountant in a corporate environment.
Individual accounting.
That was when I found that it's not it doesn't get me excited. It doesn't get me up at 5 a.m, right? So it's a failure, but also a learning around not my cup of tea. But you know what? There are other things I can do. I can plan a big event. I can do that all day. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about idea into then seeing it come to life. And so that's me.
Oh,
all right.
Interesting.
But thank you very much. I've learned so much. I've taken so much notes. So some of the things I've taken away is being industrious. The bit about pension, don't just invest in pension, invest early, watch your circle, build your brand, build strong relationships. I think you must have said that more than 10 times. So strong relationships really important on your journey. It's been amazing spending time with Ike, learned so much, including the fact that your name is Ike. I should start calling you Ike. I'm now joining your inner friend circle. Thank you very much for your time.
Likewise.
And until next time, it's me, Enoch, on the Moments with Sade and Enoch show.